This conference will now be recorded.
In this video, we will demonstrate how to complete the planning consistency section in the Type 2 CE form. The first question you are asked on the form is whether or not the project is funded for the next phase. If the answer to the question is yes, you may proceed to filling out the planning consistency table in the next step. If the answer is no, you will be asked if one or more segments are funded all the way to construction. If there are one or more segments funded through construction, select Yes, and the form will provide additional planning consistency tables for the number of segments you indicate. If funding is implemented in segments, the Long-Range Transportation Plan Cost Feasible Plan must have a segment fully funded through construction with other segments described, and there should be no open-ended projects, which means all phases must be described in the long-range transportation plan. If one or more segments are not funded all the way to construction, you will need to provide an explanation as to how fiscal constraint will be demonstrated for the project. Note that in some cases, TIP or STIP amendments may be completed after NEPA approval. However, the NEPA document must provide reasonable assurances that the changes will occur as noted in the commitment section. For now, let's assume the given project is funded for the next phase. After clicking Yes, you will be asked if the project is reflected in the current long-range transportation plan cost feasible plan. In order for the long-range transportation plan cost feasible plan to be considered current, the date should be no more than 5 years old. If the project is listed in the LRTP CFP, select Yes and be sure that the project name and its description are consistent with what's reflected in the TIP or STIP. Use the comment box to enter the page numbers in the LRTP CFP where the project can be found. If the project is not listed in the current LRTP CFP, select No and use the comment box to provide detail on how implementation and fiscal constraint will be achieved. Fiscal constraint is demonstrated when the LRTP, TIP, and STIP have sufficient financial information to show that a project can be implemented using committed, available, or reasonably available revenue resources. The next step is to complete the planning consistency table. For each phase, PE, right-of-way, and construction, select Yes or No according to if the project is reflected in the current TIP or STIP for that phase, and then proceed to fill out the funds and fiscal year for each. Ideally, all phases of the project will be funded in the TIP and STIP, but the minimum requirement is at least one subsequent phase of the entire project must be in the TIP or STIP. If the next phase for the entire project is not reflected in the TIP or STIP, then at least one segment of the project must be fully funded through construction. The dollar amounts reflected in the TIP and STIP should be reasonably consistent. The LRTP and TIP and STIP pages must be included as an attachment. Use the Add Attachment button to upload a PDF version of these supporting documents. If there are any materials you would like to reference in this section, use the Find Technical Materials button. This button will provide a reference to that resource in the PDF version of this form and include the material in the project file. The Add Attachments button, on the other hand, will attach the specified documents to the PDF version of the form, as well as included in the project file. Once you are satisfied with the content in this section, you can select Ready for Review by District. and then save or save and continue. You may also click Save Draft to come back and revise this section later. As a reminder, once a section has been sent for review, you can only see it in read-only mode. If you want to make further edits, click Ready for Review by District and continue editing. For more information on planning consistency, please see the PD&E Manual Part 1, Chapter 4, and the FDOT's webpage for metropolitan planning support. Thank you for watching this video.